So, uh, guys, today's topic is string functions. So, these string functions is majorly deals with the string values and return the same data type. Okay. So, in string functions, there are a lot of functions like concat, find set, instl, lcase, left, right, repeat, and replace, reverse, write, trim, space, substr, substr index, trim, substring, upper. Like this, several string functions are there. So each function has its own use case, and these string functions majorly deals with the string values. It takes the string value input and gives the string value as output. We'll see one by one. And if I message to explain the string syntax, please refer the PPT so that you can get clarity from further syntax. Okay. Before we do that, give me a second, guys. Okay. So, why this is this font size is okay for you? I mean, those who are attending from mobile, are you able to see this font size? 26.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. Okay. So first we'll see length function. For suppose if you have a string, let me take the column. Select month from retails. I have selected the used demo database and I'm running this query. So here I have selected month column from the retails table. So when I selected the month column, I'm able to see January, Feb, March, April, right? So for suppose what should I do if I want to get length of this month? The length means nothing but the number of characters present in this particular value. Okay. So if I want to get the length of this column, what should I do? Okay. These are the three functions: char length, character length, another length. So these are the three functions available for to get the length. So when we use these three functions, it will give the length of this value which is passed. It will give the length of the value. For suppose we'll see some examples. We'll see the char length. If I take the hello, so how many? What is the length of this hello? Can someone tell me?
Six.
Sorry.
Six.
Yeah, it is correct. Uh, why it is giving 6? Like there are 5 characters and even this symbol is also considered as uh, one more character. For suppose, let me run this query before going to that. So we got 6. Okay. And if I include space, 2 spaces, then what is the length of this?
Eight.
Yes. Even the spaces are going to be considered. Okay. In the length, the spaces are going to be considered. Okay. Don't forget that. First one I'm running. So here 6 characters are there and we have added couple of spaces after the string so that the length of the string became 8 characters. What are the number of spaces present inside the braces? Sorry, inside the quotations, inside the quotation marks, those spaces are going to be considered. For suppose in case if you add like this, it won't be considered. Okay, before that, let me remove this. So I have added 3 spaces here outside the quotation marks. It is going to be 6 only. Okay, remember guys, it is not going to consider any spaces that you given outside the quotations. So if you give the spaces inside the quotations, those spaces are going to be considered. Else, it is not going to consider any spaces that you passed in the braces, that is outside the quotation marks. And even let me check this character length. This character length also giving same thing. So it is also giving same number of character. I mean length of this string. That means the number of characters present in this particular string. There are 26 characters in skill development program. And even we can use length to find the length of the string. That means number of characters present in this particular string. If I run this, I'm getting 19 characters from Sri Sai Baba. The major use case of this thing, guys, is used to find the length of the characters, uh, length of the string, or number of characters present in this particular string. Okay, these three functions are useful. But remember, guys, these two functions, character length and char length and character length, these are the two functions are not available in SQL Server. Okay, character length and char length, these are the two functions are not available in SQL Server. The only function available in SQL Server is length. Okay, mostly length will be available in all the databases. Whenever you have a requirement or necessity to use length function to find the number of characters present in this particular column, so prefer length function. This function will be available in all the databases, and these functions won't be available all the databases like SQL Server. Let me take one more column, select month, length. So if I run this query, you can able to see January, there are 7 characters present here. In Feb, 8 characters are there. In March, 5 characters like this. Whatever the number of characters is present in this particular row, I mean that particular value of the month, we are getting that many number. You can see. This is a use case, guys. Any doubt here? Any doubt in length function?
No, Mr. Buddha.
Okay, thank you. So we'll see the concat function. So this concat function is useful to join the two keywords. For example, we have individual words. Okay, individual words like skill is different word and development is different word and program is different word. So what if I want to add these two, these three strings? How can we add that? So if I run this query, I'm going to get like this. See here, skill development program. These three words are added and we got single string. When we combine these three words, this is the result, skill development program. The concat function is useful to join the two words or to add the two or more words. Okay, so you may have some question like what if I want to add space in, I mean if I want to add space or some other characters between these two words as a delimiter. So for that case, there will be one more function called concat_ws. This concat_ws function is useful to add the separator, that is delimiter. For example, in this case, I have selected the same words. I have selected the same words, skill development program. I'm adding space. The syntax of this function is select. We need to use the concat_ws. So this ws function is useful to add the delimiter in between these words. This function also do the same, like how the concat is performing, like how the concat is adding 2 words or 3 words. This will also do the same. This will also do the same. But the major difference in between the concat and the concat_ws is the concat_ws we can pass in the concat_ws we can pass the delimiter. Okay, the first value we need to pass is that is delimiter, and we need to pass the keywords that we are looking to combine. So whatever the value passed here, this will be considered as a delimiter. If you pass space, it will consider space, and it will while adding these words, it will add space in between the words. Okay, let me run this query. So you can see I have added space here, one space here. So it added, the space is added in between the words. Let me replace that space with underscore. The space is, sorry, the underscore is added in between the words. Let me add dollar. The dollar symbol added. what are the characters we are passing as a first value in the as a first value that are getting added, and that will behave as a separator or delimiter. So see here, I have added one more string here. The Sai is getting added in between in between these three words. Okay. In concat function, just we can combine these two words, or just we can add the number of words that we have passed here, but we can't add any delimiter as part of that addition. But in concat.ws, we can pass any delimiter while adding those words. Any doubt between concat and concat.ws? Any doubt, guys, between concat and concat.ws? All right. Okay. Give me a second. So the next function is lower or L case. So this function is related to the case. I mean, this L case and the lower. This function is dealing with lower case of this lower case of the string. For suppose if you have any string in the lower case, sorry, uppercase or else capitalized case, that means the first character of the all the words are capital letter and the remaining characters are small letters, that means lowercase. So in that cases, if I want to convert any string into uppercase or lowercase, sorry, not uppercase, lowercase, if I want to convert any characters which are present in this particular, so if I want to convert this, for example, if you see this, what is the Sri Sathya Skill Development Program? So in CSS skill development program, all the characters are present in the uppercase. So if I want to convert these characters into lowercase, okay, if I want to convert this string into lowercase, so we can use the L case or lower. So these are the two functions which are useful to convert the uppercase or any other words to bring that string into lowercase. So if I run this query, you can see. So as part of this query, I have passed CSS skill development program in the capital letters. That means uppercase. So when I use the lower L case function, these characters are getting converted into lowercase. So you can see this. The input, the input case is uppercase, and the result case is lowercase. This is how L case function is useful. We'll see the lower case as well. Sorry, lower function as well. So this function is also do the same. Lower is also do the same. So I'm passing help over hut never in the capital letters. So if I run this query, I'm going to get I'm going to get the string in the lower characters. I mean lowercase. So this is how the lcase function or lower is useful. For uppercase, there are two functions, that is ucase and the upper. So these are the two functions which are available for converting the any lowercase values into uppercase. Yep. Okay, we will see some examples. This is lowercase. Select ucase and we need to pass the string. If you see the string, that is input value, if you see this input value, I have passed level server. So these are the characters, these characters, I mean these words present in the lowercase. So if I want to convert these characters into the uppercase, so we can use ucase or upper functions. You can use any of these functions. If I run this query, see, initially I have passed in the lowercase, but in the result it is uppercase. It is how the uppercase function works. And there is one more function called upper. This function is also do the same. If you see this input, the characters are present in the lowercase, but in the output it is in the capital letter. Any doubt, guys, between lowercase and the uppercase functions? Okay, let me go ahead. So ltrim functions. In the previous section, we have saw some examples like, for suppose, if the string has some spaces. So intentionally, I have added 4 spaces here. So then the length of this character became, the length of the string became 10 characters, right? So while calculating the length, so if I add spaces, if any spaces are there, for suppose, if any spaces are added before or after, okay, before or after or in between words, so does it really gives the actual length of this particular string? No, right? For suppose if we have any spaces, empty spaces before before the string or after the string, sometimes we do have in between the words as well, right? So when we are performing length operation, okay, length function, these spaces are going to be considered, right? These spaces are going to be counted, and it will give the length of that particular string, right? But here my question is, 13 is as part of this string, we got 13 string and 13 characters, right? So these 13, the number 13, does it make sense? There are 6 characters, right? Sorry. There are 6 characters in the hello world. Let me delete that is as well. Let me delete that. So in hello world, there are 5 characters, but it is giving 13 characters. Does it really make sense? No, right? If there are 13, if there are 5 characters, I should get 5 characters only instead of 13. So for that case, what I need to do is I need to eliminate these empty spaces present before or after the string. Then I can get the desired output, that is 5 characters. For suppose if I remove this empty spaces before or after, like if I run this query, I will get 5 characters. This is single word, right? So I did it manually. Okay. For suppose if you have any large tables, if you have any large number of tables, so how can you delete manually? No, right? It is not possible to delete the empty spaces present in between the words or after the words or before the words, right? So it is not possible to delete the empty spaces present before or after in the large table. So in that case, there are 3 functions available. That is ltrim, ltrim. This function is useful to remove the empty spaces present left side of the string. Rtrim. This rtrim function is useful to remove the empty spaces present after the string. That means right side of the string. And trim. This trim is a function is useful to remove the spaces either present before the string or after the string or in between the string. Okay. L for left. Remember guys, L for left, R for right, and if nothing is there, so it will remove the spaces present everywhere. That is after the before the string or after the string or in between the string. Let's see one by one. First, we'll see the ltrim function. So initially I have added, intentionally I'm adding 1, 2, 3. 3 spaces I have added. So if I want to return the value without spaces, let me pass that carries. So see here, I'm passing this function, ltrim function, with the empty spaces present before the string, and I'm passing this string as well. If I run this query, so see here. So if you observe, in case when we perform the lstrim, the string is starting from the left hand side of the cell, But if you see this word, the string is starting after three characters. I mean, after three spaces, it is getting started, and it is giving. So if we consider this, sorry, so let's cross check this. So in Bhagwan, how many characters are there? Total 8 characters are there. By including spaces, there are 4 spaces. So if we check this total length of this length of the string, so you can get 12 characters. I'm using length function. I'm getting when we use length function, the empty spaces are going to be considered, right? That is the reason it is giving 12 characters. Okay. For suppose if I use the trim operation, if I use a L trim, okay, if I use a L trim, I'm going to get 8 characters. Why? Because the length of the Bhagwan is 8 characters, right? That is the reason we are going to get the 8 characters. And whatever the space is present before the string, those empty spaces are removed, and we are getting only the characters, and these characters are getting counted, and finally we are getting the count. For suppose if I have added some characters, some empty spaces after the string, I have added 4 empty spaces after the string. Okay, let me run this query. We'll get 12. One, two, three, four. If I run this, the total length of the character, total length of this string is 16 characters. Four four spaces are present before the string. Four spaces are present after the string. Okay, the same string that I have passed to the ltrim function, and also using the character length function to find the length of that particular string. So if I run this, I'm getting 12 characters, but my desired output is 8. Okay, why? Because there are 8 characters in Bhagwan, but it is giving 12 characters. Why? Because the ltrim function is capable of deleting the empty spaces before the string, but not after the string. Okay, this is uh, this is about rtrim function, ltrim function, guys. And let's see the rtrim function. This is quite opposite to the ltrim function. So what it will do is it will delete the empty spaces which are present after the string. Okay, so here if you observe here, I have passed four empty spaces after the string. So if I remove this, I'm getting Bhagwan. And here, if we check this length of this string, so we are getting 12 characters. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to pass this string as part of this rtrim function, as part of this rtrim function, and then on top of this rtrim function, I'm going to use character length to find the length of this particular string. So if I run this query, whatever the empty spaces present after the string, those are going to be removed, and only the characters we are going to get. For suppose what I will do is one. 2, 3, 4. I have added 4 empty spaces before the string. So if I run this string function, so I'm going to get 12 characters. Why? Because uh, this rpm function is capable of deleting the empty spaces after the string, but not before the string. What are the empty spaces present before the string? Those empty spaces are not going to be deleted as part of this rpm function. That is the reason we are getting the length of the length of the string is 12. And if you see the trim function, if you have any empty spaces before the string or after the string, those this trim function is capable of deleting those empty spaces. So I suggest you guys, if you are using if you are using two keywords like uh, this, if you have any word with which is separated by empty space, in this case don't use trim operation. Okay, if you see this, the empty spaces after the string before the string are deleted. Okay, see here, the empty spaces before the string after the string are deleted. If we consider this, if we check this length of these characters, the 16 characters, because after before the string there are 4 empty spaces, after the string 4 empty spaces. I'm using trim operation. If I use trim operation on top of this value, these what are the empty spaces present before or after the string are deleted, and I'm using the character length function to find the length of the output value. So I'm getting 8 as output. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? Any doubt on trim, L trim, R trim? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, please.
in this query, select character length
Mm-hmm.
as is there, okay? After as, trim underscore length is there, okay? So in this, uh, we we
Here.
wrote this total length is in
Okay.
single quotes. Why, sir?
Why? Because this single quotes you are asking.
Yes, sir.
You are asking about the single quotes.
Miss, this total length is in single quotes. Why?
Mm, yeah,
And
I
what is
got it.
the use?
So you can there is no restriction for you. You can use double quotes. Okay. You can use single quotes. Okay. You can use backtick marks. The main use case of this function, the main use case of representing the representing the keyword in this type either back tick marks or single quotes or double quotes. So this will consider as a column name. For suppose, let me remove this. If I run this query, if I run this, what is the name of this column? What are the function I have used here? What are the function I have used here? That function is getting renamed as a column name, right? Okay. So in order to remove, I don't want to pass this function as a column name. So I want to rename that. So what I'm doing is I'm just simply passing as, and I'm passing one more keyword or one more word. So this word, what are the word we have passed here? That is going to be used to rename this column. So when I pass this type in this form, the column name, the column name is this, right? The function what I have used here, right? That function is going to be renamed with this name. And if I run this function, sorry, if I run this query, I'm getting the total number of characters is 16. Okay.
Okay,
I hope,
thank you.
yeah. Next, we'll see the left and right function. So in left and right functions, there are these left and right functions are useful to find. This function is useful to select the substring of the main string. So this left function and the right function is useful to is useful to select the substring. Substring means, for example, this will be called as a substring of this entire string. This is also considered as a substring of this entire string. Okay. This help is also considered as a substring of this main string. Okay. So in left, the left operation is useful when you want to select only particular number of characters from the left side. For suppose, if you want to select left 4 characters, you can use this function. Okay. If you want to select the right 5 characters, you can you can use right operation. Okay. If you see the syntax, select, we need to pass the keyword either left or right, and we need to pass the string. We need to pass the string, or else if you have column name, you can pass the column name here, followed by comma and the number of characters you are looking for. So here in this, I'm looking for 4 characters, left 4 characters. So if I run this query, I'm going to get the help. See here, the left 4 characters are going to be as part of this query, going to be result as part of this query. So if I make it as 8 characters, I'm going to get 8 characters. Help, in help 4 characters are there, one empty space, that is 5, and EVE, that is, if you count this length of if you count this number of characters, it became 8. If I pass 9, I'm going to get help ever hut never, sorry, help ever. So in help ever, Total 9 characters are there. This is how we can select the characters from listing, or if you have column. I think there is only one column, guys. That is in the retiles table. We have only one string column. I just want to see two characters. See here in John, two characters selected. In Feb, two characters are selected. In March, two characters are selected. In April, also same. We can able to see only two characters in enter this column. This is how we can select the number of characters from the table as well. The right operation is quite opposite to this left function. In right function, what it will do is it will select the number of characters, whatever the number we have passed here, right? So that many number of characters going to be selected from this string, but it will take the characters from the right side. It will count these numbers from the right side. R as 1, E as 2, V as 3, and E as 4, and N as 5. Like this it will consider. If I run this query, I'm giving the number as 5. So that is the reason I'm going to get this never as never. Uh, Let me use this right on top of the table. If I run this, guys, so I'm using right function here, and the column is month, and I'm passing 2 as a number. So two characters are going to be selected from this month column. If you see this, in January, RY is the last two characters, and February is as well. RY is the last two characters. In March, the last two characters are CH, right? Like this way, you will get last two characters of all these months, all the months present in this particular month column. Any doubt on right and left? No doubt, right? 5 more minutes, guys. Okay, let me show you one more example, not one more concept. So if I run this query, I'm going to see all the months present in this particular month column, right? So if you observe the values, in January, how many characters are there? Total 8 characters are there. In February, total 9 characters are there. In March, total how many characters are there? 5 characters are there. In April, 5 characters are there. In May, 3 characters are there. In June and July, 4 characters, like this, and so on. Okay. What if I want to make this length of this, if I want to make the length of this column as 12, length of all values present in this particular month column, if I want to bring the length of this all the values present in this particular column to 12. What should I do? So I need to add either empty space or something, right? If I add 4 empty spaces to January, it will become 12, right? It will become 12, right? So that is how I can make the January as make the length of the January as 12. And for the February, total 9 characters are there. So if I want to make it as make the length of this particular string to 12, what should I do? I need to add 3 empty spaces or 3 characters or anything I need to add to this particular string. Then it become length. Then it will become 12 characters length. For March, I need to add how many characters? I need to add 7 characters, right? So if I add 7 characters, then the length of this March would be 12, right? Even for the April, I need to add 7 characters, either empty spaces or anything. Then it will become 12 characters length. Even for May, I need to add 9 characters length, 9 characters to make it as 12 characters length string. So in that case, we have 2 functions that is called lpad and rpad. L means left, R means right. Okay. So the pad L pad is refers to padding. L padding means it will add the characters on the left side. R pad means it will add the characters in the right side. Okay. If you see the syntax, L pad string we need to pass followed by the length, how many length you are looking for. For example, in my case, I'm looking for 12 characters length, and here we have only 4 characters, right? Sorry, how can I explain this? Okay, so in January there are 4 characters, sorry, 8 characters are there. So how can you make it as 12 characters? How can you make this as 12 characters? So I need to add something, right? Either space or something. So if you want to add with if you want to add spaces, you can add spaces here. This would be the syntax, guys. The function lpad or rpad, the string, whatever the string if you want to pass, or column name you can pass, and the total length, the final output length that you are looking for, and if any empty, I mean, if the length of this string is less than 12, or if any value present in this particular column is less than 12, in that case, how can you fill that values? How can you fill those how can you fill the remaining spaces? That value you need to pass here. So in my case, I want to fill with hash. So for suppose if we consider January, there are total 8 characters are there. To make it as 12, I need to add 4 characters. So if I use hash, if I pass hash here, so 4 ashes, that means it will become it will become like this, because we are using lpad function, right? So if we are using lpad function, it will add like this. If we are using rpad function, these are going to be added after this. This is how it will looks. Let me go ahead and run this. Instead of this, what I will do is I'm passing the month column, and I'm passing the 12. So if I run this query, one second guys, let me add this. What happened? If you see the results table, for your more understanding, I will add length as well. So see here, what I'm doing is I want to bring this value to 12. So whatever the number of spaces, whatever the number of characters less than 12. So in that case, I want to add hash. If you see this, for January, in January 7 characters are there, right? So in order to make it as 12, I'm adding 5 hashes. For in February, total 8 characters are there. To make it as 12, I'm adding 4 characters. If you consider May, there are total 9 hashes are getting added to make it as 12 characters length. This is how lpad function works. And if I use the rpad option, it will add the characters in the right side. So if you use lpad option, these hashes are added out left side, right? So if you use the rpad option, these characters are added after the string. This is how rpad and lpad functions are useful. That's it for today's guys. We'll see